This is Young Trader. It is Thursday morning, and it is actually crude day today. You're going to have the numbers on crude at the EIA report at 11 o'clock, and for natural gas will be at 10:30. Now, the API report came out yesterday, and actually it was pretty good. Crude had a draw of 4.2 million. Gasoline had a draw of 0.5 million. This is, had a build of 1.3 million, and then Cushing had a nice draw of 0.3 million. So overall, not too bad. Now remember, the OPEC meeting is going on here all the way through the 31st. Now they're recommending not to add any more oil here in July, but we got to see how that all shakes out. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look here at crude oil and natural gas, and then we'll take a look here at gold. Okay, and then we'll take a look here at the old Nasdaq, which is ripping up 366 very nicely on NVIDIA's earnings. I told you yesterday that the whole market's going to be based on what NVIDIA says, and she's ripping up nicely. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy any stock commodity ETF. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have Bitcoin and here we have gold. Okay, we're not going to do silver because silver is just a sideways action. Until we start getting some movement on it, then we can have. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same old thing. Okay, so we'll take a look here at Bitcoin. Now, you can see yesterday we came down, we went below this 8 SMA, was hanging right about right around at that 8 SMA here. This is your key level that we'll be looking for here is that 106,340 level. You can see that we're holding this here nicely. Now, today we have what they call an inside day. Your high and lows within inside the previous day, and we're sitting right around at 8 simple moving average again at 108,381. Now, upside. Here's what we want to watch. Yesterday's high, 109,425 level. Then we come over top of this candle here. You're looking at 110, 175. Then we'll come up top here. You're looking at 110, 980. And then we have 112, 60. And then your big retest at 112, 345. Now, we crack above that. Obviously, we're going to hit that 113,000 mark. And then really the pattern plays out to about 115, possible 116, but 115 would be my target on the old Bitcoin, okay? Now, we have this consolidation here like we had off of this nice double bottom inverse head and shoulders pattern. So nice consolidation going on, and we're having the same thing here now, so we don't want to get too excited. Now, what we're watching here on the downside is you want to watch yesterday's low, 106,770. This is going to be key right here, 106,340. We want to make sure that we hold this level. See how we have this top of the candle? We want to hold that level right there, okay? And then again, obviously, if that's lost, we'll come to the top of this candle. You're looking at 104,990. We'll come to the bottom here, 104,435. And then we're going to come right here to this 103,368 level, which is your 21 day. I call this like almost like a catch-all because I think once we lose the 8 day on a closing basis, that 21 day is next, and that one there should hold. Now, what you always want to do is look always to the left of this chart here. You can see as it ran up, okay, then we had consolidation, and that was a breakout. Now that becomes very nice support. That's why I use these price channels. Very nice. See that? And then we keep right on going. You can come all the way on down until we come all the way down to this 100 day or even possible 50 day. Now, we got to an overbought condition here. Now she's just kind of like say sideways here, even though that does measure strength, okay? You never want to see it really spiking up like that high because it usually will come down. Now your green is still over your red, but it's like a sideways action. But I think just when we just have a little consolidation, let's see how this all shakes out. Now Bitcoin is really trading with the markets here, okay? So pretty much with the Nasdaq. Nasdaq goes up, it looks like that Bitcoin wants to go up there with it, kind of a situation. But so be a little bit patient here on the old trading. For me, I just I'm scalping the IBIT. That's for the long side. Okay, now again, if we get above this 112,345 and close above it, I'll not only be in the IBIT, but I'll be in the BITX, which is a 2-time leverage fund, and take that higher. But just be careful with these 2-time leverage funds because they rebalance at the end of the day, okay? And they're really designed to go to zero. So this is a trading vehicle. So just always remember that, okay? Now, let's take a look here at gold. Now, gold, we're still really not doing a whole lot of anything here. Okay, we have this downtrending. Okay, so we have a high, lower high, and a lower high. So we put a line right across there, and we have a downtrending situation. But you notice that how nice we're holding this 21 day. Okay, it's just like birds sitting on the old power line. Okay, just sitting right there. Now, this 8 day just crossed over that 21 day, which is good. That's 33.03. Okay, that's going to be your support. And then we have the 21 right below that at 32.92. Now, if we lost that, it would come down to today's low, 32.69. And then we have this nice 50 day at 32.29, which we have to respect because how many times it held it in the past. Okay, now when you have this crossover, that's usually very, very bullish. Okay, I'll give you an example. See how that 8-day crossed over? And then we had this really nice, good rally up here. So you got to be, always pay attention to that. That's going to be very, very important. Okay, now on the upside, obviously today's high 33.21. Yesterday's high, 33.52 level. Then we want to come up to the top of this candle here at that 33.66. Okay. Then all we do is just work these candles up here. What we got there? You got 33.77, 33.84, 33.96, and then we'll come right up here to this 33.48. Then we have this retest up here at 34.48, and we'd have to see what the reaction is if it gets up there. Okay. Does it crack through and we go to this 35.09, or does it just hit this and then come right on down? But right now, just remember, we're downtrending here until we're not, okay? So just remember that. But we are holding that 8-day and that 21-day. Very nice sideways, like a consolidation, okay? Very nice. Now, RSI here, 53. That could go either way. The green is just sideways action here. So we got to really hold on nothing. But what we're looking for here is some kind of a catalyst, okay? Something happens in the market. You get a war, you get this, you get that. Then gold is usually is in play there, okay? All right, let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have the old crude oil and here we have natural gas. Now, take a look at the old crude ski. Now, you can see here how we're running up here very, very nice. Now, OPEC had their meeting and it's going to go all the way through the 31st. But what they recommended now is not to adding any more oil on the market, okay? So, and then plus we had the seasonality, had a nice draw at 4.2 million. We'll have to see if the EIA confirms that. But, okay, so don't have any kind of a opinion one way or the other. Now, when I told you look at this chart here, okay, it's not a true inverse head and shoulder because this is not the low, but left shoulder, head, right shoulder situation. Okay, so if this flips, you can go right to that 200-day very, very easily. Okay, so you can see here where we had this rally. We're holding it between the 21-day and 8-day. Yesterday we made a nice higher high and a higher low, and then today here we made another higher low. But where did it go? Okay, see, this is why you trade the charts. Where to go? Right into that 50-day. I said just watch that 50-day. That's going to be key. Now, if we can get above that 50-day at 63.19, then we'll come to the 64.19, which is basically just top of that candle. And then we'll bring this price channel over. And then what do we have here? You got 64.87. Okay, so that's going to be your upside. Now, if we keep rallying, we'll come to the bottom there, 65.22. We'll come to the bottom here at 66.09 level. Then just look at 66.63, and then we work yourself right up here to this 100-day at 67.48, and possible 200-day at 69.21. Okay, so what we got to see, you got to get above that 50-day first, and then we have to get above this price channel, both ones, this candle, and also that candle. Okay, then we can head for that 100-day, possible 200-day. But right now we just have the sideways action. Like I said, we're trading this box. Okay, so if we just watch the bottom of this candle, 59.89. That's what we're holding, okay? Okay, and then upside here is going to be the top of this candle at 64.87. So we're basically just trading this box. So if you just box this in, this is what we're trading until we break out. We break out above the box, we're going to the 100-day and possible 200-day. We break below this here, then what we have is going to be coming down, and we come all the way down here. What we have is this 58.76 level, 57 level, 56 level, and then retest on the 55 level. Okay, but right now what you want to watch on key level on support is 61.72. There's your 8-day, and then your 21-day at 60.81 level. Okay, so this is where we have this nice, good sideways trading action. Okay, so we're actually very, very strong here because even though we came below, you notice how nice it's holding this 21-day. Okay, very, very easy, but it has to get above that 50-day to go higher. Now RSI. 52, plenty of room to run. Green over your red, that's still looking very, very good here. But you notice that we are downtrending here. If you take this spike out of this situation, this was that Israel attacking Iran, okay, rumor, whatever that was. It didn't really pan out, but we're still downtrending kind of a situation. Okay, so you got to be a little bit careful here and just watch that 50-day on the old upside. Now, natural gas, we had that contract rolls where you can see where she just gapped right on up here. And then where did it go? Okay. 3.832, we're looking for 3.84, boom, right there. Okay, done. Now, today we made a little bit lower low here. We're right below that 50-day. So on the upside, we're watching that 50-day 3.55 level, okay? And then we get above that, we're going to look for that 3.69, and then the retest of 3.84. Okay, very easy. Downside, you're looking at 3.47 as your 21 SMA here, and then we look at that 3.69, your 8-day, and then your retest down here at 3.22. Okay. So right now you're kind of like in the shoulder season, okay? So there isn't like a demand one way or the other. But if you have a hot summer coming in here, or you have some kind of a disruption, or anything on that order, it'll take natural gas and crude oil much higher. Okay. Now we still have this gap fill, so you always want to watch today's low. Okay, that's at 3.51, and then we want to watch the top of this candle at 3.44. So a gap and your fill, but we have this 21-day and the 8-day. So we have some good support, but always watch on those contract rolls where they pop right up here. Yesterday was actually a very, very nice short because we couldn't get through that 3.84, and I scalped that KOLD for a nice good point, and that was really good. Now remember, when you have contract rolls, the ETFs, okay, like UNG or KOLD, they're not going to do any kind of a movement, okay? That's just reality, okay? They're going to stay right there. So again, it just pops up here, but now I'm looking here, maybe possibly fill this gap, and we have to see how this shakes out. But right now, we're trading these price channels, okay? So if you watch that 309 on the bottom, 384 on the top, we're trading this range until we either break up or we break down. Okay, let's take a look here now at the Nasdaq. Okay, here we have the Nasdaq futures. Now, I've been telling you here that NVIDIA was everything, okay? And obviously, NVIDIA is everything, okay? Nice rally. Yesterday closed at 134.81, and now it's sitting at 143.25. Okay, now I sold half my position yesterday, and I'm still holding half of my long position. Now, I do this in a couple of ways. I have a long position all the way from 95, and then I trade this daily, okay, because it's a really good mover. Okay, so now we got to see. Now, remember, the high on NVIDIA was 153.13. Okay, so that was the absolute high. You're sitting at right now at 143.21. So I got to see. Well, it's got to go on. Now, again, is NVIDIA going to keep rolling on up here, or is she going to sell right on down? Okay, now remember, Friday will be the last day of the month that you can trade. And usually that's usually a down day. Okay, June 1st is Sunday, so that's usually a down day. So if we're going to have a rally, it'll be today. But let's just see how this all shakes out. Now, the Nasdaq here, we had this sideways consolidation, and I was always pointing out this price channel right here. Okay, 21,567 that we have to crack above. Okay, so we were holding this 8-day very, very nicely here yesterday, and now look how nice this is cranking up here today. Okay, so we got as high as this 21,858. Okay, so what we're looking for is right over here. Okay, 21,813. Now your next level is going to be right there, top of this bottom of this candle, 21,951. Then we'll look to the bottom right there at 22,118, and then we'll look to the top, 22,245, and then we'll come right to the top of that candle at 22,319. Okay, and then obviously your retest there at 22,450. Okay, so NVIDIA was everything. If it came right on down, this would be right on down here today. But you can see here now we have a nice series of higher highs and higher lows going on here. So this could keep rallying here, but we'd have to watch if it gets in this area, 22,450, what's going to happen, what's going to be reaction in that situation. Last time we hit this, okay, we retested it, and then she fell right off. So let's just be a little bit patient here to see if this Nasdaq can actually hold. Now, we got to an overbought situation there. Now we are not, we're making a higher high, but we got to see if we're going to end up here with a negative divergence. So be very, very careful. Let's just see how this all shakes out here today, and if it can hold these gains. Because right now I say the future's up 360 some. So you got to be a little bit leery, see what we got. Okay. So we have a nice sideways action going on here, but we are at the top here. We are at the top here. This is where I like buying, is when we are down here kind of situation. Okay. But let's just see how this shakes out. We can have a little bit more on the old run. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here at midday trading. We'll take a look at some stocks. Now, remember, there's a lot of earnings going on there today. You got Costco, you got Dell, you got Marvel, you got Ultra. So there's a lot of stuff here still left on the docket. All right, remember, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.